Hello everybody. I thought I'd take you along for the first few days of this new year. Today is the 4th of January and I'm in a really weird phase of my life. And I think most people probably feel like this at the beginning of a new year because we've just had the holidays and most people travelled for that, and then we have New Year's and all these resolutions. However, for me, it's more of a what direction is my life going in sort of thing, because I just finished my masters and I have nothing lined up. I mean, it's not that I don't know what I want to do with my life, because I'm so certain that I want to do a PhD in English literature, but getting there takes so long. Finding a topic that fulfills all the criteria and seems like it's something that I would be interested in researching for the next 3 to 4 years, maybe even longer, who knows. Writing a proposal and then also filling out all of these other application forms. It is such a long process. Now that we've established that everything feels a little weird at the moment, I thought we could maybe take the time and talk about the books that I am currently reading or planning on reading. Call me superstitious, but I feel like the first book of the year matters. I sure think that it sets the tone. I don't know. And I have 2 contenders here. The first one is Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude, and I really want to read this one because I already contemplated this as my first read of last year, but I wasn't in the right headspace back then because I was in the thick of finishing my degree. Well, not really my degree, but the last papers before I started writing my thesis. Doesn't matter, it's all done. I've successfully ticked that masters off my life to-do list, whatever. Because I think in December of 2024 I watched the Netflix series, which I enjoyed quite a bit, and afterwards really desperately wanted to read this book because, well, first of all, the book is always better, but then also because the series only covers the first half of this book as far as I know, because this is a multi-generational book and quite a complicated one for that matter, because all the characters share the same set of names. So I don't think it's that easy to tell them apart. I love magical realism and I've heard nothing but great reviews about this book. So this is a contender, but I mean, it's a commitment. So it's either this one or the polar opposite, the newest Laini Taylor book, which is a middle grade book, a middle grade fantasy book. I don't know too much about the plot of this one, but I know that it's about fairies and the cover is really cute. And I'm not normally a middle grade reader, not because I don't think adults shouldn't read middle grade books, because I think that's nonsense, but just because they don't often speak to me, don't know. However, I adore Laini Taylor's writing specifically. So of course this would be a much quicker read, but then this one's been on my TBR for the longest time. I won't make a decision now, but you'll see what I decide on later in this video. There's another thing I need to share with you, because I just started a new hobby, or what I hope will become a new hobby. I started knitting. And this is my first project. This is going to be a sock. Do you see the vision? Right, so this is going to be where you put your foot through, and this is the heel, or the beginning of the heel. Isn't that cute? I have so much respect for all the people out there that can just effortlessly, without concentrating much on the project, knit anything because it is so complicated. Reading those patterns is like reading a new language, and being able to decipher it definitely is magic. Right, so I am looking forward to finishing this sock, hopefully someday today or tomorrow. Good morning everyone, it's Tuesday and today I have a doctor's appointment that I have been waiting for over 3 months at this point. And I'm really curious as to how this appointment is going to go, because I need some answers. However, I don't know whether this specific doctor is going to give them to me. I started my first read of the year yesterday and I am so excited about it. I started 100 Years of Solitude and I read the first 70 pages or so yesterday, and I am so happy about my choice. I already made abundantly clear that I adore this book, so you definitely need to know what it's about. So here it goes. 100 Years of Solitude is a 1967 novel by Colombian writer Gabriel Garcia Marquez, and it tells the multi-generational story of the Buendia family in the fictional town of Macondo. The story begins with the town's founders, among them José Arcadio Buendia and his wife Ursula, who leave their hometown after José Arcadio kills a man following a cockfight sparked by an insult to his masculinity. And while travelling, he dreams of a place called Macondo, a shining city made of mirrors, and decides to build it from nothing. In its early years, Macondo is completely cut off from the outside world. The only visitors are travelling outsiders who periodically pass through, bringing strange inventions, things like magnets, telescopes, and even ice. Objects that feel almost supernatural to the villagers. José Arcadio Buendia becomes the town's driving force. He's brilliant and endlessly curious, yet impulsive and increasingly isolated as he loses himself in obsessive experiments and philosophical questions. Those qualities echo through his children and grandchildren and his grandchildren and so on. And as the generations unfold, the once innocent village begins to change. Contact with neighbouring towns brings civil war, violence and griefs, and slowly erodes Macondo's isolation. So over more than a century, the novel focuses on the decisive moments in the family's life, among them births, death, marriages, affairs and betrayals, until the Buendia's private dramas become inseparable from the broader history of the country itself. I love it. It's such a weird book. I don't think it's for everybody, but I personally love it. I actually have to head out to catch the bus. By the way, it's going to take me nearly an hour to get there, which is ridiculous because it's in the same city. The doctor's appointment and my flat are in the same city. It doesn't matter because it's 1 hour of uninterrupted time to read my book. Not to brag or anything, but I finished my sock. Look at it, it looks like a proper sock from both sides. Well, to keep things real, I don't yet know how to weave in ends, so this is what it looks like on the inside. It still has the needle attached. The umbilical cord is still very much there. Guess I have to do things all over again. But I learned so much from it. Is it perfect? Hell no. Sorry, things got too difficult with only one hand. Some stitches are very much on the loose side, but I don't want to show you its imperfections because to me this sock is perfect. Okay, it's way past midnight at this point. I think it's about 1:30 a.m. and I did not plan on staying up this late, but I wanted to close out the day. I'm still so excited about my sock. It was a lot harder to weave in the ends than anticipated. And I'm not happy about what I did with that, but you'll live and you learn. But other exciting news, I just booked tickets for us to see the new The Stranger or The Outsider, L'étranger film. So a movie adaptation of Albert Camus' book, which I read a few years ago. I think 3 or 4 years ago at this point, not too sure, but which I enjoyed quite a lot. I actually have the book here somewhere. I rearranged my bookshelves recently, so sometimes it's a little difficult to find what I'm looking for because I'm not used to them yet. But I think they are, I think I have the Modern Penguin edition. Right. Here it is. These are my shelves, by the way. Or one of my shelves, my main shelf, which I am sort of happy with. I also rearranged that one, which is above my bed. This is the book. Quite a small one. Why am I holding it in a funny way? Quite a small one. It's an existentialist novel at its core, following Meursault, who kills a man, but is quite indifferent to societal standards and norms, and, well, tries to find meaning in a meaningless world, as it so often is. I mean, this definitely is not a timeless book. You definitely have to apply some critical thinking, because it is full of Islamophobia. It's Wednesday and I'm getting ready to go to the movies, and I thought we could do our makeup together, if that's alright with you. Maybe I can show you some of the products that I use on a daily basis. So let's get started. I already applied my base product, which pretty much is only the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer, and then also the Morphe Colour Corrector, which, as you can see, has this pinkish tint to it because, again, it's a colour corrector and technically not meant to be a concealer. But I feel like most other products, even in the lightest shade, oxidize and then pull orange on me, and I don't like it. But on days when I feel like I'm getting too pale, which well, maybe was today, or not even too pale, but you can clearly see that this is more pinkish than the rest of my body. I also use a little bit of the True Match concealer or the True Match foundation. I have no strong feelings on these, but these are the products I usually go for. So already applied that, and then also did a little bit of brows, just filled in the arch of my brows. The next step is contour, so we're just going to apply it like below the cheekbones, and then I also do it on the jawline. I feel like this did something already, but it is a little warm on me, I think. But I feel that about most products. But still, we're going to apply it to the nose, the sides of the nose. To be honest, I think doing nose contour in winter is a little pointless because it won't last. And then I love doing it on this bone. I don't even know what this bone is called, but like where the hollow of your eye starts. Don't know, but I love doing that. Do it a little bit on the outside of my eyes and on the tip of my nose, as well as below my lip, and now I look ridiculous. Next step is blush, and of course I have a lot of different blushes to choose from, but my two recent favourites have been the Milk Makeup one, the cream blush in the colour Muse, and to set it all in place, the MAC Film Noir blush, which looks a little frightening in the pan because it's dark brown, but at least on my complexion it pulls burgundy, which I love. I have been on the hunt for blushes that do not pull pink for the longest time, and I think these ones together do look quite natural, like the natural flush of your skin. But I also love me a pink blush, and my favourite one is this one from e.l.f. in the colour, it doesn't say on here, does it? Oh no, it does. Bold Faced Lilac. I guess it's a lilac shade, but it does look pink. But today is not a pink day, today is a red day. First blush done. I also applied a little bit to the tip of my nose, even though I know that it won't last. But I mean, we can look cute for a couple of minutes. And then technically I would go in with the powder blush to set everything in place. But because this colour is so dark on my complexion, I have to powder my face first, otherwise it will get really patchy. So we are going to do that using the Huda Beauty loose powder. This is quite expensive, I think. This is the mini version, by the way, and it has a lot of product, so I'm happy with this one. But this is the first powder that I ever bought that I feel like does something. It definitely makes my face look a lot more airbrushed. And I apply a generous amount to my face, even though I love the dewy look. But I want things to stay in place for as long as possible. Now it's time for Film Noir, and I'm gonna use the fluffiest brush I have and apply the tiniest amount possible. Next we are setting the eyebrows, and I'm using the NYX Brow Glue, but I'm not a fan of this one because it leaves a white cast on your eyebrows, but now that I have it, I'm going to use it up. I like me quite a thin eyebrow at the moment and quite a defined one. I'm not a fan of soap brows on myself. But I feel like eyebrows is such a trend thing. It's always prone to change. But right now, I'm liking this. At the moment, my face is quite matte, so I'm going to go in with some highlighter. And this is some highlighter stick by L'Oreal Paris, whatever you want to call it, in the colour PVC, and I like this one very much. However, I cannot apply it directly to my face because then, say it with me, the blush will get patchy. So I'm going to apply it to my finger and then dab it on. A little bit everywhere, basically. On the tip of my nose, my cupid bow. What I like about this highlighter is that it's not that glittery, but really shiny, as you can see. And that is because I'm going to apply a lot of glitter to my eyelids anyway, and inevitably we're going to have a little bit of fallout, so my face is going to be glittery anyway. So a little bit of shine suffices. Next step is eyes, and as this is my everyday makeup, I'm just going to show you the few products that I switch between on a daily basis because I love me a dramatic eye look. I love some falsies, I love a strong eyeliner, I love a lot of eyeshadow, but on a daily basis I just put on a shit ton of glitter and call it a day. And my favourite products to do that are, and don't mind that it looks a little dirty, that just goes to show that I use it frequently. So the first one of course is the Fenty Beauty highlighter in the shade How Many Carrots. And I oftentimes see people say that it's impossible to hit pan on this one, but I have. And I love it so much. Maybe I can swatch it for you because it's stunning, and I don't think you need this one because it's $50 or so. I think by now there are so many nice dupes of this one out, but I bought this one and I'm really happy with it. On days I don't use the Fenty highlighter, I use the Urban Decay Moon Dust eyeshadows, and I think I have 4 of them technically, but I only have 3 with me right now because I cannot find the 4th one, but it's a really nice pink with green glitter particles. But today I have with me, first contender, Diamond Dog, a really nice brown with golden glitter. Stunning, in my opinion. Then I have this one, which to most people might not seem like an everyday colour, but I love light blue eyeshadow. Watching that one. Oh. And then the last one looks so nasty. It's Space Cowboy. Really beloved. I can't swatch this one for you because there's barely anything left. I need a new one desperately, but it's a really nice champagne-y shade with, again, a lot of glitter in it. I love these ones. I wish I had all of the shades. Today I'm going to go for my most frequently used one, which is How Many Carats, and I'm just going to put that all over my eyelids and even on my lower lash line, because I want as much glitter on my face, well, on my eyes I guess, as humanly possible. Can you see how beautiful this glitter is? I hope so, because I think this is my favourite makeup product ever. I think if I had to get rid of all of the makeup products I have, I would probably keep this one, just because it's not there to cover any insecurities on my face, but purely for joy. And this brings me so much joy on a daily basis. Next step is curling the lashes and then putting mascara on my upper lashes. Last step is lips, and of course the products I'm using on my lips change on a daily basis, but the ones that I'm going to use today are a MAC lip liner in the colour Stone, and then I already have a little bit on, but I'm just going to go in with more of Black Honey. And the last step is of course setting spray. I have two different ones currently in use. The first one is the e.l.f. Stay All Night Blue Night Micro Setting Mist, and then an Inglot one, which I feel like does maybe a little bit of a better job, but to be honest, I don't see that much of a difference, so I'm gonna use whatever I feel like on that day. Alrighty, and that is my everyday makeup look. I'm going to the cinema now to see The Stranger, and I'm going to take you along and give you a little review later. It's so cold outside, I don't even want to go out. I do want to go out, I don't want to go out, no? Das ist hier bei dem ist hier aufgestrichen. I'm back home and I am so cold. It's -5 degrees outside, which is crazy, at least for where I'm living. And there was so much ice on the pavement, which made me almost fall about 10 times. But I didn't. The movie was good. I think it's worth giving it a watch. However, the movie definitely lacked the introspection that the book gives, which made it feel almost nihilistic from time to time. Basically, like, the main character, Merceau, just didn't give a fuck. Which I don't think is necessarily the point that Camus is trying to make, or that existentialism is trying to make. Right, so it was nice to look at a black and white movie. Haven't seen one of those in a few years, I think. But if I had to choose between the book and the movie, I would of course choose the book. It's Thursday and it's time to close out this vlog with one last reading update. For the last couple of days I've been reading 100 Years of Solitude, as you know, and I'm currently on page 170, so I'm nearing the halfway point and I'm loving it. This book is definitely not for everyone. It's so weird, really bizarre. I mean, it's magical realism. I am currently on the cusp of the 4th generation, I'd say. I mean, the 3rd generation is, for the most part, pretty much in their adolescent years or early adulthood. And I am still quite good with keeping track of the characters, but that is probably due to me having watched the Netflix show already. By the way, I'm so excited for the second part to come out, which now has a release date, and it's hopefully the 26th of August. I am so looking forward to that. The prose in this book is phenomenal and I'm underlining so much. I can totally see that some people think that not a lot happens in this book, or that it gets quite tedious after a while, but I think that the point of this book is that it takes such a long time for family trauma or dysfunctional patterns, whatever, to, well, get solved. And that is exactly why all of the different generations keep making the same mistakes. I'm probably going to give you a full review whenever I finish the book. But so far, so good. I have finished the book by now, so I thought it would be fitting to end this video with a review. When I had reached the last page, my immediate reaction was to go on Goodreads and write, unlike anything I've ever read, and I'm going to chase that high for the rest of my life. And honestly, even a week later, I still feel exactly the same. Harold Bloom once wrote about the novel that, and I quote, "It is all story, where everything conceivable and inconceivable is happening at once." And that really is what it feels like. The book is dense, but bursting with life. And I think it achieves that by mixing the family life with revolutions, folklore, and catastrophe. Garcia Marquez blends myth with history in a way that makes magical realism feel like it's revealing truth about reality rather than offering a way to escape from it. And that can be quite uncomfortable, but it's also so exciting. He manages to create an entire world of its own, one I wasn't ready to leave, even after following Macondo for more than 100 years. And what fascinated me most was the way the novel handles time. We always see that time might be cyclical instead of linear, but this book truly illustrates what that might feel like. The past, present, and future blur into each other, and suddenly your understanding of history is forever changed. And yes, the characters reuse the same names and inherit similar traits, but somehow the novel still makes every single one of them memorable and strange in their own way. Really strange. Circling back to my Goodreads review, the novel leaves you with the rare sense that you've just encountered something genuinely unique. At least right now I feel like that. I'm definitely open to experiencing more narratives like this one. Alright, gotta go. I hope the winter months bring you time to pause, recharge, and take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.